Today, we dive into a story that bridges multiple creative worlds in a way that feels genuinely remarkable. It is a story that rewards close attention because every detail gains significance the more you examine it. We are focusing on Into the Sun, the creative process behind one of the most emotionally resonant tracks on the Ararang album. A Grammy-winning producer named Nitty Music shared on Call podcast his experience working on the album, particularly highlighting Jim's contribution to the final chorus of Into the Sunday. In the same session, Diplo, one of the most recognized and influential music producers globally, offered remarks about the chorus that Jim helped shape, and those comments left everyone in the studio stunned. Nitty Music is a producer and songwriter whose career operates at the very top of the music industry. A Grammy winner, his work spans multiple genres and includes collaborations with some of the most prominent figures in contemporary music. When Nitty Music recounts a studio session, it comes from a position built on thousands of recording sessions and a career defined by consistent excellence. His recognition of what occurred during Into the Sun is professional judgment, not casual praise. Diplo, known offstage as Thomas Wesley Pence, is an icon in electronic and popular music over the last 2 decades. His production credits cover a vast array of styles and genres, from Major Lazer to collaborations with Beyoncé, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Skrillex, and countless others. His ears and judgment have been honed by decades at the highest level, and when he describes something as extraordinary, it carries precise significance. Tiso Touchdown, a Texas-born artist and creative, has been establishing himself as a distinctive voice in modern music. His approach to genre and sonic identity resists easy categorization, making him one of the most discussed creative forces today. His presence in the Into the Sun session illustrates the deliberate gathering of unique creative minds for the Ararang album, an environment designed for innovation rather than safe formulas. Jim's role is where the story becomes exceptional. The session, as Nitty Music described, already had Tiso Touchdown, Diplo, Cayenne, and Jim working together in the studio on Into the Sunday. The verses and bridges were forming, and the team was tackling the final chorus, the song's ultimate emotional moment, the conclusion that would leave a lasting impression on listeners. Crafting a final chorus is among the most challenging tasks in popular music. It must feel inevitable, the natural destination the song was leading toward, while also surprising the listener with a sense of revelation. It must encapsulate the emotional weight of everything preceding it. Jim completed this critical moment. Nitty Music described it with clarity and warmth, conveying that this was a true story that genuinely moved him. Jim specifically contributed the line that became the song's emotional apex. "I will follow you to the sun." This image captures ultimate devotion and love so complete that it would chase its object into the impossible, into the heart of the sun itself. It was not a minor addition. It became the conceptual and emotional core of the track, shaping the experience that ARMY has resonated with since the album's release. Consider the effect of that line within Into the Sun as a complete musical piece. Every element earlier in the song builds toward this moment, the yearning, the urgency, the sense of something unresolved that demands closure. Then Jim's line appears, and the song suddenly crystallizes. Instantly, it becomes clear what the song has been conveying. The sun is not merely a place or a poetic image. It expresses a level of devotion that acknowledges no boundaries or impossibilities. "I will follow you to the sun." The words are irrational, beautiful, and only possible to speak if felt with genuine sincerity. The lyric works because it sounds like something a person might truly say in a moment of overwhelming emotional honesty. When Jim delivered that line in the studio, introducing it to the creative process, Diplo, who has heard everything, worked with Beyoncé and Justin Bieber, and been in more sessions than most people have had meals, remarked, "Yo, I think we just made the perfect chorus." The final one is extraordinary. He recognized immediately that the line had transformed the song into something it could not have been otherwise. Nitty Music described the atmosphere in the room at that instant as one of those rare studio experiences where everyone present simultaneously senses they have created something exceptional. He said it transitioned seamlessly from studio to stage, exactly as imagined. The version of Into the Sun performed live on the Ararang World Tour is the direct realization of that studio moment. The creative vision born when Jim contributed the line is the same vision unfolding on stages across North America and worldwide as the tour continues. The song became what it was always meant to be, and Jim revealed that to everyone. This story deserves more than casual appreciation. Nitty Music's account shows Jim operating as a true creative contributor in a highly collaborative session with some of today's most respected producers. He was not merely executing directions or performing someone else's vision. He was an equal, offering ideas about the song's direction that were heard, valued, and ultimately recognized as essential. This is the story behind the songwriting credit he received. It is not just formal acknowledgement of presence. It is recognition that his creative input, his choices in language, imagery, and emotional resonance shaped the song into what it became. The line that Diplo identified as part of the perfect chorus, the line that closes Into the Sun with emotional completeness, came from Jim. That is what a songwriting credit signifies when the contribution is real. Understanding Into the Sun within the Ararang album and the world tour deepens the significance of this story. The track consistently evokes strong emotional reactions from audiences during live performances. It creates a focused atmosphere where the accumulated energy reaches its peak, and the final chorus delivers the release toward which the song has been building. Fans at Ararang concerts describe Into the Sun as one of the most moving moments of the show, where the audience's emotional engagement finds its fullest expression. Knowing Nitty Music's account adds another layer. The line that moves audiences so profoundly live, "I will follow you to the sun," originates with Jim. The emotional peak experienced in concert results directly from what Jim contributed in the studio alongside Diplo, Taiso Touchdown, Nitty Music, and Cayenne, a contribution immediately recognized as extraordinary. The link between what happened in that studio session and what unfolds in arenas filled with thousands of voices singing along is direct and tangible. Jim created something in a studio that then traveled out into the world and became part of people's lives. That is what art achieves. That is the essence of being a creative contributor rather than simply a performer. Jim has brought genuine creative vision to his music throughout his career, sometimes visibly, sometimes less so, but always with real and significant impact. The collaborative dynamic of this session is also worth noting. Diplo and Jim are not obvious partners. Diplo comes from an electronic music background rooted in dance and club music that has shaped global popular culture over the last 2 decades. Jim comes from K-pop, from a rigorous training system that has produced performers who are both technically precise and emotionally expressive. These are distinct worlds with different aesthetics and creative priorities. Yet, they met in the same room, working on the same song. When Jim contributed his idea, Diplo immediately recognized it as exactly what the song required. This kind of cross-cultural creative recognition cannot be manufactured. It emerges when authentic artistic visions intersect in a space that permits real creative exchange. That it occurred in the Into the Sun session, with Jim, Diplo, Taiso Touchdown, Nitty Music, and Cayenne collaborating to produce something they all acknowledged as special, highlights the specific creative intelligence Jim brings to collaborative work. He contributes more than his voice. He brings insight, a sense of what a song needs, the ability to hear where a musical idea wants to go, and the skill to find the precise language that completes it. His emotional perception allows him to grasp the heart of a song and articulate it more clearly and powerfully than before. These are the marks of a genuine songwriter and creative collaborator, recognized instantly by Grammy winners and global superstars. Nitty Music noted that the entire experience felt like a closing song. This observation ties directly to how Into the Sun functions during the Ararang World Tour. The producers sensed in the studio, before any live performance, that the song carried the emotional weight and sense of resolution characteristic of a concert's final number. They were correct. The song's arc, its build and release, and the emotional destination defined by Jim's line all aligned perfectly with delivering a complete and fulfilling concert experience. Diplo's comment about the perfect chorus deserves emphasis. A perfect chorus in a song like Into the Sun is not just a sequence of notes and words. It is the moment of emotional culmination toward which the entire song moves, feeling inevitable in hindsight, even if unpredictable in advance. It is when the longing resolves and "I will follow you to the sun" stops being hypothetical, becoming the most direct and honest declaration possible. Jim created that in a studio session with some of the most talented producers today. He brought the line that elevated a good song into an extraordinary one. Now that song plays in arenas worldwide, and the line is sung by thousands who feel its truth in their own lives, recognizing in the image of following someone to the sun a reflection of complete and unconditional love. The secret behind Into the Sun is Jim, which, for those paying attention, is not a surprise at all.